programs in history. The Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP loan program, was meant to be a lifeline. One of the biggest government relief programs in history. The Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP loan program, was meant to be a lifeline for small businesses through a dark period of the pandemic.
From coast to coast, empty streets, businesses closed.
As dire as things looked in March and April of 2020, many entities ended up faring well through COVID. Some of them benefited from the program and got loans forgiven even after their business bounced back. An NBC News analysis of data from the government's Pandemic Response Accountability Committee found that the federal government authorized more than 300,000 PPP loans to real estate entities claiming just one employee. That adds up to $3.9 billion in loans backed by the U.S. Small Business Administration. Yet, unlike other industries like tourism and hospitality, which suffered during the pandemic, real estate boomed.
Bidding wars are on the rise. 41% of listings sparked bidding wars.
Existing home sales in June jumped 20.7%. That is the largest one-month jump ever since the realtors began recording in 1968.
Between April of 2020 and January of 2021, existing home sales jumped more than 50%. Now, the price of homes are at least 38% higher than in January of 2020. In Santa Barbara, real estate agent Gary Goldberg was involved in the sales of luxury homes equaling more than $27 million in 2020. In 2021, jumping to $82 million, according to a history of listings on Zillow. Even estimating a conservative commission, that could still mean potentially seven figures in earnings over the 2 years. Yet public records show Goldberg's business also received $95,000 in PPP loans, which were forgiven in 2021. We reached out to ask him about it, but he declined to comment. There's no indication he did anything illegal. He's also not alone. In West Los Angeles, Enzo Ricciardelli was the agent in $12.2 million of home sales in 2020 per his Zillow history, and his business also received more than a $145,000 loan from the Paycheck Protection Program, forgiven in 2021. Efforts to reach him were unsuccessful. NBC News reached out to a dozen agents with strong 2020 sales and whose businesses obtained PPP loans in excess of $90,000 that were wholly or partially forgiven by the federal government. None agreed to do an on-camera interview. Erin Stackley with the National Association of Realtors defended those who asked for PPP loan forgiveness in her industry.
They had open houses canceled because obviously people didn't want people traipsing through their homes. If they received the loans in good faith and if they followed the program's rules, then that is what the SBA and Congress intended to happen.
The loans were made with the understanding that they'd be forgiven if the recipient met certain criteria, like spending 60% of it on payroll. But not everybody was able to get assistance. Back in Los Angeles, we visited an address listed on one realtor's loan. A new business had moved in. The manager there telling us what it was like to get denied.
In the beginning of the pandemic, it was very hard because everything was shutting down and closing and not available, and it was pretty tough. Now we're barely trying to get our heads above the water now. The banks were also very kind of iffy.
State entities in Beverly Hills, $4.3 million in El Paso, Texas, and $14.9 million in Charlotte, North Carolina. Out of the realtors we tried to contact, one did say she plans to return the money. Phyllis Paytick, a real estate agent in Austin, Texas, got an $83,300 loan. She says she'll pay hers back, citing her good business through the pandemic.
So Guad Venegas joins us now. And Guad, I guess I understand a business asking for forgiveness. If you can ask, why not ask? But from the government's perspective, why did the federal government forgive all these loans, even for businesses that did well through the pandemic?
That's a big part of the question, Aaron. We spoke to the Small Business Administration about this, and a senior SBA official told NBC News that multiple pieces of legislation dictated the the terms of the loan program, and they were, quote, extremely liberal and extremely generous when it came to the loan forgiveness. Essentially, that's how the program was designed. But as the country now questions if the pandemic relief was too big with inflation where it is, we thought we would highlight how there were lots of businesses that, as you saw, got relief that actually did pretty well these last 2 years.
The mayor was definitely intoxicated. Wow. The Jan 6 committee set out to prove that Trump lied with about election fraud claims against the advice of top aides. South Carolina headlines primaries in 4 states, and more news to start your Tuesday. My name is Quentin Banks. If you're new to the channel, of course you guys gotta like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about this. I know a lot of you guys were questioning, and I had a lot of questions, just asking me a lot of questions regarding this. So hopefully this will actually open up and we can get through some of this. So yeah, basically, let's see, the House Jan 6 committee said former President Donald Trump ignored his aides' recommendations. Let's see here, former New York mayor on election night to claim he won the 2020 race. South Carolina headlines primary races taking place in 4 states today. A look at how millions of Americans already live in a post-Roe world until the Hyde Amendment. The U.S. Open, the 3rd major tournament of the year, tees off amid major drama in the golf world, and how to spot tonight's strawberry supermoon. Boom. So let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about this. Up first, more than 100 Americans were under some heat warning or advisory Monday as potentially record-breaking heat wave hit the central and eastern USA. The blistering heat is expected to continue in portions of the country Tuesday as temperatures in Chicago could reach 100 degrees, along with oppressive humidity, the National Weather Service warned. So let me know where you guys at. I know there are tons and tons of people just all out through the world, and 90 degree weather, 80 degree, 101 degrees. So it's breaking, especially right now. Like especially where we're at right now, it has been a lot, and it's been hot. It's been hot. The other video we went over the firearms. We'll talk about the Warriors beat the Celtics in Game 5. The key takeaways as well. So we're going to talk about that here in the next video. Let me know in the comment section how you guys feel. As always, my name is Quentin Banks. Stay loyal, stay blessed, stay true, stay you.
There by Representative Hall that today Ohio is quote-unquote doing something. Of course, that goes back to what was said after the Dayton shooting when there were members of the crowd that said quote-unquote do something.